Hi, good morning. People is joining now. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. So we are around 63 people registered today in this second call for Twinnings webinar. So as most of you already know, we just last week we launched our second call for Twinnings in the framework of Procure4Health project. And today we have our informative webinar where you will be able to, you will have the chance to know all the details you need to apply for this second call. So let me share some housekeeping rules for this webinar. So it's up to you, but you can introduce yourself in the chat. So we have a chat devoted to this purpose. So you can type your name, organization, LinkedIn, or any other to make a network with other attendees in the meeting, in the webinar. If you have any question during the whole meeting, the whole webinar, you can type your question, your doubts in the Q&A box that you have in the bottom of the screen. So we will be addressing them afterward. Just to keep you informed that your microphone is mute during the presentation, and it will be open if you have any questions. So after our presentation during the Q&A session, if you have any question, you just have to raise your hands and we will open your microphone. So share all your concerns, doubts, and questions during the Q&A session. You can raise your hand as well. We will be solving all the doubts you have. This webinar, as you can see, is being recorded and it will be uploaded on our main channel. So in the Procure4Health community platform, in the project website, and in our YouTube channel. So no more than 3 days after the session. So as soon as possible. And if you want to interact and to tag us in the social media, we have our Twitter and LinkedIn profiles. So you can tag us by using these usernames that you can see in the slide. So let me go in depth to the core of the meeting. So today we are here to introduce the second call for training. So it is open, and today we will have our partners from Procure4Health, Magnus from Innovation SCON, that we will be giving you all the information you need to apply to this second call and all details from the application. And Carlos, that is the coordinator of the project, and he will be introducing the project in a nutshell. And our colleague Ali, as the platform owner, he will be showcasing the application form and the community platform where you have to submit your application and your proposal. So I stop sharing my screen, and now I want to give the floor to Carlos, the project coordinator. So Carlos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Procure4Health. As Maria said, I'm just going to give a quick overview of why are we doing this, why are we doing Procure4Health, and then give the floor to Magnus and Alice, since they are the one that have something really important to say today, because they're going to tell us what you have to do in order to be able to get these funds we have available. Okay, Procure4Health. Why are we doing this? Why are we dedicating so much time to this? Because we have the ultimate goal to foster the uptake of innovations that improve our organizations. And since we are health and care services providers. For us, uptaking innovation is procuring innovation. So what if what we are doing is, what if instead of being reactive to what the market has to offer us, what the innovation ecosystem, what solutions they might provide to us, what if instead of taking a look and seeing if their solutions might or might not fit all the needs that we have, what if we tell the market what are our exact needs and challenges, and tell them, if you are able to develop a solutions, we will buy it, we will procure it. And what if we go one step further? What if we tell the market, if we like the solutions you proposed, we will not only procure the final outcome, but we will also procure the final stages of the development. And we're not doing this because we think the suppliers of solutions might need an extra motivation, but because we really think that procurement of innovation is the paradigm of co-creation. It's a journey that we have. The demand of innovation and the supply of the innovation has to cover jointly in order to find those needs that really have an impact in our institutions, in our organizations. I really, on a personal level, believe that there is no better tool in order to use the resources, public resources in many cases, we have to foster innovation and improve our organizations. So, but also, what's the deal here? It is a complex tool, but it is not a complex tool conceptually. I'll just outline it, and really, it's not much more to it. It's not technical either. We don't need this fancy equipment or extraordinarily complicated software or anything like that. But it is complex because there are a lot of stakeholders that have to engage into the process in order to be successful. And let's face it, we all work in complex organizations. So what are we doing from Procure4Health? We are working to build our capacities in order to be able to use this powerful tool of procurement of innovation. We are working to foster cooperation among us. And at the end of the day, we want to shape the future of this tool in Europe. So, if you're interested in this topic, the Twinnings are a very good tool to get engaged in all these activities. So once again, welcome to Procure4Health, and now I give the floor to Magnus.
Thank you very much for the introductions, Maria, and our project coordinator, Carlos, of course. Happy to see so many of you here as we are presenting these new and updated tools for just increasing the capacity and knowledge when it comes to innovation, procurement, and collaborative public-private partnerships. I'm going to share my screen with the presentation. Hope it is visible for you now. Yes, so as Carlos mentioned, there is a lot of activities going on offered by the Procure4Health projects. And one of those activities is the opportunities that we share in the publication of external twinnings that we will be presenting more precisely today. I will, as responsible of this particular concept in the project, we will present what it is about, what the purposes of it, how you yourself can submit your proposal and be involved in the implementation of it. And we're going to go to Ali to show the technical tools for submitting your proposal, and we'll conclude also with some time for questions and answers if there's any uncertainties or clarifications that we can provide. But to start off, who am I and who are we? My name is Magnus Wallengren. I work at an organization called Innovation Skåne, which is an innovation company of the public healthcare provider in the very south of Sweden. where I work as an innovation manager and project manager and involved with Procure4Health. So in this instance, we support and administer the implementation of external twinnings in the Procure4Health project. This is where we invite different healthcare actors, healthcare procurers specifically, who want to apply for the second call for Twinnings, which this is, to learn about or adopt innovative solutions and procurement methodologies for the uptake of those solutions. The Twinnings tool is a tool for knowledge exchange and capacity building for any interested organization who want to get more involved with these concepts. The Twinnings are proposed in partnerships by 2 or more organizations who can submit a proposal for up to 30,000 euros for joint activities aiming to progress in their journey towards being able to increase the likelihood of uptake of innovative products in their specific organization. And I think that the Procure4Health project at large is a great opportunity for any of us, not only speaking on behalf of the consortium members, to really advance the ideas of innovation procurement. We have a great range of different types of resources and opportunities when it comes to increasing the knowledge in innovation procurement. And not only that, we cover a great range of European countries where we can apply this type of knowledge and try to promote the purposes more widely. So what are the benefits in being involved in these external twinnings? Well, as I'm sure you know, there is a great deal of experience and current best practices out there when it comes to the deployment of innovation procurement processes and the adoption of innovative products, meaning that you do not necessarily, even though you feel there is a need for you to learn more about these processes, you do not need to reinvent the wheel once more for your own organization, but rather learn what are the current best practices out there and pick up on them to adapt them to your own organization. And the objective of the twinning can be the transfer of knowledge or experience around really a wide range of variety of perspectives, such as the uptake of a specific product or service, the implementation of a certain process or methodology, or for that matter, a more long-term strategy for procurement purposes. So there is a wide range of purposes that can be adopted and adapted by you as a participant in these twinnings, meaning that there's a great range of flexibility as well to what can be offered. But let's take a step back and consider for a second what it means to address any kind of unmet needs by the implementation of innovative products or services. Often these unmet needs are addressed by the way of research and development in a public and private cooperation or collaboration, and considering that there are many kinds of different kinds of unmet needs, these collaborations can take many forms, and to be honest, can be quite complex, but also these forms needs to be understood and appropriately navigated so that we do not end up in any legal complexities or barriers which could otherwise have been avoided or navigated more efficiently. And exactly, in my mind, this is exactly what Procure4Health is about. It is about the capacity building to understand the types of collaboration that we can use so that we can more efficiently implement the products that we need. There's a lot going on in this slide, and I don't mean to go through all of the details, but this is a kind of conceptual map that was developed nationally in Sweden for public actors to understand the route from having identified an unmet need to eventually having deployed a product addressing that need. And by doing so, having gone through a process of collaboration with a company that's provided that product. There are certain routes or paths that need to be understood for a public procurer to be able to deploy those products. They can be collaborative. They can be in the form of a more clean supplier relationship. And they can be more in the type of innovative procurement, which is more of an ongoing collaborative relationship that you might have. These paths need to be understood and appropriately navigated to be able to eventually have the innovative product deployed in your organization. And if we move away from that image, to be able to understand that process, there are a number of questions that need to be understood and responded to for any type of public procurer to navigate in that process, such as what is our actual unmet need, what is currently available on the market in terms of that need, how can we safely engage with the market around our unmet need or any specific product, how do we proceed to a competitive procurement so that we can evaluate and compare different types of products or proposals, and how do we eventually procure a scalable, interoperable solution that we can use in our organization for our unmet need. And this is what we try to support public procurers with in our project by different means, and this is what we're trying to elaborate on and understand better in the funding of Twinnings. I think that we can agree that just as in the previous image where we showed the whole complex map that we need to navigate through, that this journey that we move through can be divided into quite specific steps, going from exploring and understanding the unmet need, understanding what type of procurement path and process is relevant for that need, implementing that process in the form of a collaborative innovation procurement, and then using the results for deployment and gathering the impact of those results. And what we fund in these Twinnings is for any procuring organization to be able to go through any individual step during this process, understand it better, what it means for their organization, and be able to proceed along this journey. And so there are a number of different activities that you can do for any of these in any of these steps, but they all have in common that you will receive up to 30,000 euros in doing them. I suggest a little bit about what types of activities that can be funded in the project, and going back to the concept of that these Twinnings are done in partnerships with other procuring organizations. You can propose such activities as having shared workshops, doing study visits, and funding travel either to the organizations involved in that twinning, or any other organization which might have successfully implemented this process before and you want to learn more from them. You can perform market analysis and open market consultations to have a better understanding of the current state of art in your specific product segments that you're looking for in the markets. And you can have funding for other types of costs for external consulting services and fees, for instance, and more, because I think really the key to understand here is there is quite a wide range of flexibility of what can be supported here, as long as it supports your main purpose of being able to navigate through this process so that you can eventually reach a deployment of something addressing the unmet need that you have. I want to mention one example from the previous Twinnings period that we are currently implementing, considering that this is the second call for Twinnings that we are implementing in this project. One of the examples that were awarded funding from the first open call for Twinnings was a collaborative partnerships between two of the larger regions in Sweden. The region focused around Stockholm, the capital, and the region focused around the second largest city, Gothenburg. They proposed a twinning around the joint focus area of patient monitoring, ventilation, and infusion systems. And what they wanted to do was both of them saw a need of updating their current system with more modern functions. The actual needs that citizens might have, and that what is actually offered on the market in the recent developments. So what they proposed and what they were awarded were activities for promoting joint knowledge sharing and exchange, the development of more improved procurement strategies, and robust market engagement and open market consultations to have a much more improved understanding of what is available on the market. All of these activities are being funded by the Procure4Health external twinning, so that's what they're currently implementing. If we proceed to just mentioning the timeline that we are under, Maria mentioned that the Twinnings call was launched a few weeks ago. We have this webinar today, and I think the most important date that you need to keep in mind is the deadline for the submission of your proposal, which is by the 5th of December, in exactly 2 months from today. During this period, you have the opportunity to ask questions to us in the administration team of these Twinnings, if there are any clarifications and uncertainties that you might have, and we will respond to them promptly. After having gone through, after deadline, we will go through all proposals, evaluate them, and rank them for awarding, so that we can start with the awarded Twinnings, having them implemented from late winter next year, early spring. And the maximum duration of any twinning has been set to 6 months. I'm reaching the conclusion of this presentation, but I wanted to mention something about the different types of documentations that is required from you for submitting your proposal. There are basically 3 forms that you need to download, fill in, and submit. It's the administrative form for ensuring eligibility of your proposal and your organization. Is the technical form, in which you will describe your Twinnings approach and the different types of activities that you feel are relevant for your joint Twinnings, your Twinnings collaboration, and a financial form for defining the budget for those activities that you propose. And I think that of these 3 forms, where you will probably spend most of your time is going to be in the technical form, to really try to be specific about the purposes of your Twinnings, what you aim to do, and how you aim to do it. And I will not go into detail in the actual form. I will just, I think in this context, it makes sense to show the different types of sections that you need to consider and fill in. For the technical form, it's basically divided into 3 sections. One describing the excellence of the organizations proposing the Twinnings, the expected impact that you expect to have from the activities that you propose in the Twinnings, and the work plan for you to be able to do so. Different activities in a timeline throughout your proposed Twinnings period. So that's what we expect from any proposal, and of course any questions also that you might have about the content, about the forms, and what the purposes are of the different sections, you can also put to us throughout this this period for the open call. All the documentation that you will need is available on the project website and as well on the Procure4Health platform. We realize, of course, that one of the basic eligibility items of the Twinnings is that they are made in participation between 2 or more organizations. So this means that you need to find an organization that you can apply it together with. Of course, this can be difficult, but it can also be very easy, considering that you might have relationships or collaborations with other organizations already today. So these may very well be eligible for you to just suggest another element to your current partnership to submit a joint proposal for these external Twinnings. If you do not have any such current partnerships, we also have a matchmaking functionality on the Procure4Health platform, where you can search for other organizations who also want to apply for the open call for Twinnings, and see if you have any joint interests which might serve the both of you. There is also more support material available, such as the recording of this webinar and other material as well. We're always available for any questions. You can find my email here, but you will also have contact channels through our website and the Procure4Health platform. And I think with that, we are leaving the questions a bit for later, but with that, I'm leaving the word to my project colleague, Ali.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So thank you, Magnus, Maria, and Carlos for the introduction and introducing the Twinnings. I will be showing you how to do the technical part of the Twinning and how to submit your applications and show your interest in case you want to take part of this activity. Before we start, I would like to share my screen. Let me, Maria, can you please confirm that when my screen is shared that it's running properly throughout the presentation?
Yes. Go ahead.
I will share my entire screen because I'll be switching tabs, so you can see my screen now.
Yes, but the Zoom session.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Now the platform. Perfect.
Now the platform.
Thank you.
So many of you are now familiar with the platform. If you're not familiar with the platform, so it's simply you go to the community.procure4health.eu. It's mentioned here on the top, and it will take you to this page. As long as you log in, you would be able to, you are now registered. Once you registered, it's just quite important to mention that our organizations are listed in 3 different categories, and these categories are: you are either a procurer, a supplier, or a supporting organization. You will receive the notification of your organization just in the notification tab that you have been listed which organization. Why I'm saying this, it's important because only procurers are eligible to apply for the Twinning. So procure organizations can register for the Twinning. Now, to go to the main page, if you're a procurer and you are inside the platform and you have been listed, you would be led to this main page. And the first thing you would see with a big apply now next to it is Procure4Health Twinnings. You could go to this Procure4Health Twinnings, and it's a very straightforward page that leads you to the action buttons by itself. You have on top either you want to download these documents that Magnus just mentioned, you download them. So just clicking them, you would have access to these documents. On the other hand, you could just say you finished the documents, you have written everything, and now you want to apply. So you just apply now. By clicking apply now, you would be taken to this page where you would have to enter few data about yourself and simply upload the files that you just filled. So you put add documents and you add the three main files Magnus just mentioned. To go further, now this is the main part of it. There's a bit of explanation, and as Magnus said, you either had a partner or you either want to find a partner to do the twinning. In case you do not have a partner, if you go down you would have, if you're looking for a partner, simply you click on find a partner. It would take you to this page. This page is a place where you can post what we call as expression of interest. So you're on an organization that wants to express its interest to have a twinning, and you post on what topic exactly, what you can offer or what you can receive. You can see here one organization has already posted few expression of interest. You can get in contact with that organization. But if you click on it, you would have few categories that might be interesting for you. For example, on which what is the category of this, what does it has more details, and to read more into it. If you are interested to post an expression of interest, you will have at the top right of your screen, you would have my expression of interest. So you have to click this one, you have to have a new entry, and then go to the expression of interest. It says exactly that this is for the twinning, and if you're looking for twinning in a particular area, so please join this one. Then you could have the fields to write the details about your twinning. Are divided according to what some are obligatory fields, some are not, but you could, to make the other partner easier for them to select this twinning to contact you or not. So this, when you have finished this, you would have to save, and it would directly be, again, when someone clicks find a partner, they will find your organization also as an organization that is looking for a twinning. The last thing I would want to say is that if you have, there's here a request for proposal, a request for a twinning proposal document. So it is one of the downloadable files, but also if you want to download it by itself, I think it might help you answer many of the questions you might have. If you still have questions regarding the technical part or any part, you could, here's my contact. I will also write it in the chat, but also feel free to contact me for any questions related to the twinnings in the technical part of it, on how to apply, or how to download the documents, or how to find a partner. Also, I'll be very happy to assist you through the process of putting on your twinning interest, expression of interest. So we could set a very short meeting, one-to-one, to assist you through the process of finding a partner in the through the Procure4Health community. So this is my contact. I will also write it in the chat. One last thing before I finish my call is, if you are not part of you didn't apply yet for Procure4Health and you're still looking for the documents, Maria mentioned in the chat that you could just go to our main website, which is procure4health.eu. You go for the twinning call. You could also find the documents on the website itself, which is a public website open for everyone. You could download the documentation kit from this button. As long as you click it, it downloads your documents. So it's a quite easy process, and we're available always for all the questions you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you very much, Ali and Magnus, for your insightful presentation and explanation. So now I just found some question in the chat, but I think that people is introducing themselves and asking questions through the Q&A box. So, but there is a question, but Magnus, you just reply to the question, I think so, regarding, but we can explain it loud, so in case any other applicant has the same question regarding the cross-border aspect. So Magnus, you can go ahead with this reply. So it's, yes.
Yeah, I can only clarify that there is no such criteria saying that the collaborations must be cross-border, but you can, as suggested by the Swedish example, you can by all means collaborate with national actors.
Okay, so I'm going through we have a question in the Q&A box from Victor Torres. So he asks, is it possible to use part of the budget to cover the cost of the adoption by the Twinnings adopter of a specific product or service that has been previously adopted by the twinning originator? I don't see it under the finance activities.
I think that might be a sort of a gray area, because the focus of these twinnings is very much at the core of the twinnings is knowledge exchange and increased capacity of the organizations in the participating in the twinnings when it comes to innovation procurement. And in some cases, I wouldn't say that the adoption of a specific product that's already been procured by another organization increases that much the capacity, but I think that this can be more specifically discussed in a separate discussion, perhaps better understood in a separate discussion, so we can better understand this specific context.
Yeah.
But I would say that going back, for me, this goes back to the main purposes of the twinnings being a tool for increased capacity building and knowledge exchange, not so much product exchange.
Yeah, exactly. The funding activities are more related to obtain these experiences and lesson learned, and to arrange some meetings, physical workshop or meeting, so both organizations can exchange knowledge.
But by all means, for anyone with this question, including yourself, Victor, you can contact us and we can discuss this more in depth.
Perfect. Okay, another question from Lourdes. The twinning can be possible between organizations of the same country or area?
I think the short answer is yes.
Yeah, yes. It's not an eligible criteria, so it's fine. Okay. Let me go through the chat in case you send any question, but it's better if you type them in the Q&A box, so we have all questions collected, so we can share with the rest of the attendees. Okay, Magnus, you are answering through the chat. Okay, perfect. So if somebody has any other question and wants to raise the hands, or if we miss something from the chat, but because we have received a lot of interaction, so it's really appreciated, because you are sharing with others your contact details and your expertise and all you are looking for from your organization. So it's a good opportunity. So this kind of webinars are also a good opportunity to matchmake and network with other peers. So yeah, we just received another question. We are an NGO in healthcare providers. We can apply.
To respond to that, I think it needs a little bit more context. One of the eligibility criteria is that the focus of these of the funding for twinnings is on healthcare procurers, and you yourself may very well be, but it also the organization needs to be specifically involved in providing health and care. Health and social care, basically. We call it among the eligibility criteria, we call it that the applicant needs to have a procurement function in health and care. I think this can be better understood when reading the different eligibility criteria in detail, which is part of the documentation package. And if there are still unclarities, you can contact us and we can elaborate.
Okay. So any other questions, doubts, or any concerns you want to share with us so we can clarify now at the meeting? Okay, so in any case, we will, after, as Magnus mentioned, after the session, I will share with all of you the recording of the meeting, the presentation, and the questions. So you have all the information collected, all the replies. Ali, do you want to say?
Just there's one question in the chat, not in the Q&A, in the chat, that can you please explain more about the procurement function?
Yes, I can explain a little bit more, but it's kind of a tricky text, which I'm reading more or less straight out from the eligibility criteria. So I think that adds better context. But just to add a little bit of a note, the purposes of these Twinnings is that we are trying to target public and private procurers or groups of procuring organizations operational in the provisioning of health and social care, meaning practically health and social care providers who procures products or services as a part of the of how they operate. Basically, I don't know if that's when you try to elaborate more around those definitions, it tends to get quite tricky and complex. But I would recommend you to go into the text about the eligibility criteria and see if you can help yourself better by defining where you would fall, knowing your organization best. And if it doesn't, if you're still not clear, you can contact us and we can discuss.
Okay, thank you, Magnus. Okay, so there any other question so we can address? So we are on time, we can solve more doubts or questions that you may have regarding the Twinnings. Okay, in any case, you can contact us. I put in the chat the general email contact that you will find in the page devoted to the second call for Twinning, but also you can contact Magnus or Ali directly if you have specific doubts regarding the application process and so on. We have another question. Hi, both sides of Twinnings have to be procurers? I would say yes.
Yes, the eligibility criteria applies to both sides.
Yeah, this is the main eligibility criteria, so it's mandatory that both sides are procurers, healthcare innovation procurers. Okay. Any other question? So feel free, so it's time to ask and to solve all those you may have. You want to add something, Magnus? So another question. Can one party be a private and the other a public? Yeah, one public and one private procurer in the same partnership?
Yeah, I think this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky, because then you need to be really sure that you meet the procurement function eligibility criteria, and an important aspect of that is to how your organization is defined in operational terms. So I think, again, have a good look at the eligibility criteria such that it is written, and contact us if there are any unclarities.
Okay. We have another question in the chat. We are NGO working with cancer patients providing integrative medicine services. Will it be a good example if we apply for sharing our knowledge to a cancer center?
I would say that it depends. I feel that's my response to most questions. It depends if that knowledge is focusing on the clinical aspects that you use in your around these services or processes, or if it's about the more aspects related to innovation procurement and public-private collaborations. If the latter, it could very well be eligible, depending on your the definition of your organizations. For the former, we're not looking for knowledge exchange around clinical excellence here, but around the public-private collaborations aspects.
Cool. Okay, so we have another question from Victor Torres. Can you elaborate a bit more on the stages? Well,
yes, I can for sure do that. If you mean the different stages that we can say any organization goes through their so-called innovation procurement journey, we do not mean that you need to cover all of these stages or steps as part of your twinning collaboration. Your collaboration can describe activities that just cover one step, basically, or how you would move from one step to the next. It's basically a support for you to be able to move through that journey, either covering just one step or moving through several steps. It's really about what is most applicable to your context and where you are at. For instance, what I mentioned about the Swedish example, where they wanted to draw up a more future-directed procurement strategy, but mostly have a joint look at what is available on the market, the current state of the art, so to speak, in the domain of patient monitoring. You could easily say that this is basically just about covering the first step of exploring the unmet need and have a better understanding of the market availability. And that's totally fine if you can just show in your proposed twinnings that this is important for you to be able to move on to the next step.
Okay, maybe it can be useful if I share through the chat the link to our resources page, where they can find the different stages and the process of the innovation procurement, and they can also access to the Procure4Health community platform under the section devoted to the capacity building catalog, with the different resources we have available from the different stages.
And going in, adding a little bit more detail to that, in the documentation material, for each of these stages, we have a certain range of listed activities that you can propose for each of these steps. For instance, in the first explore your need step, you've got open market consultations, understanding what is available on the market, understanding your own unmet need a bit better, understanding how your organization might need to adapt to when you deploy certain products that address that need, and so on. So there is a range of subsections for each step that you can consider. That's part of the documentation package.
Okay, thank you, Magnus.
Thank you, Maria.
For clarifying. We didn't receive any more questions from the Q&A box and the chat, so I just shared the link with you, so you can go to the platform section, where you will find the capacity building catalog we have with several resources from the different stages of the innovation procurement process, and also the web page where we have the information regarding this service we are offering in Procure4Health community. So if we don't receive any more question, I don't know if you want to add something else or to clarify anything else, Magnus or Fred or Ali. So I think that we try to address all the question and thoughts from potential applicants. So we will be more than happy to receive your proposal in the coming weeks And just remind that the deadline is the 5th of December. You will have 2 months, so the call will be open during 2 months. So feel free to ask questions and emails to us, and have a look at our webpage and register to the platform. If you have any concern, just let us know. Okay, through email, or we have in the Procure4Health website, we also have the contact form, and you have our emails as well. So feel free to ask and to move forward, to prepare your proposal and all documentation, and keep your eyes peeled to complete all required documents. So as Magnus and Ali mentioned, you have to fulfill all the documents so you can submit your proposal through the Procure4Health platform. Don't forget any documents. Okay, so if nobody has any more question, I think that we can close the meeting and conclude this meeting. So I will share with all attendees the recording, the presentation, and also the question from this insightful session. So I hope it's been very useful for you, and you will have from now on more information regarding the call, and you are able to start working on your proposal. And if you have any doubt when you start writing the proposal, please send us an email and contact us. Feel free to do it. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you to my colleagues for being here today, explaining very well this funding opportunity we have now in the Procure4Health community. And thank you very much to all the attendees for joining us today. And we will inform you as soon as possible of our next session or webinar. So we plan to have an additional section to solve doubts and to give some tips, if any. So we will let you know through email the date of this coming webinar, coming session in the coming weeks. So maybe in some weeks, more or less, we will organize another meeting in case you have doubts. So we will be addressing the doubts. As I hope that you will be writing the proposal for that time. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. See you soon, and good luck. Bye. Thank you.